Good morning, and thank you very much for joining us. I am Yori Folani. I thought we'd continue the conversation that we started yesterday, not, of course, with the same people, but we did get our teeth into that. We didn't quite get to the end of it. It's hard to get to the end of those kind of topics, really, in a one-hour program. But we still shall be adding our 2 cents worth. And you recall it was all about how do we, as it were, stop the violence going on in the Niger Delta. How do we all come onto one page so that we all are seeking the same thing, have the same objective? As you know, there are negotiations going on, but recently we heard that is the differing parties are indeed in talks, in negotiations. This has even been acknowledged by, the movement for the emancipation of the Niger Delta, aka MEND. But there is this Avengers group that is dancing to its own music. So we're looking at why would that be, and are there things we are missing? Are there things that need addressing? Or is this something you can just put down because the army has said, the military has said that, look, we just hope it doesn't fail, because if talks should fail, we're not going to sit by idly. We're going to swing into doing what it is the Nigerian taxpayer created them for. So, but nobody wants it to get to that. That's why we have talks on the ground. Now, I have my guests this morning. Let me introduce my first guest, because he's the person you're going to see first. You're not going to see people like Chris and I in dark suits.
Yes.
But thank you very, very much for coming. Evangelist Prince Ishola Ekujena Echie.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very, very much for coming on.
Yes.
Just tell a bit about you. I'm expecting that we'll be getting an interesting perspective from you. First of all, it might not be evident, but you are a member of the clergy.
Yes.
You're a businessman, and you're a lecturer.
Yes.
And interestingly, your family has been in politics because your late father, Chief Gabriel Ekujena Echie, was a minister, actually, in the old Awolowo government.
Yes,
he was
right.
Minister of
Trade, Commerce and Industry.
Trade, Commerce and Industry. So
Yes.
the Nigerian question, it's been pretty, routine in your family.
Yes, that's it. That's a fact.
Indeed, you're very, very welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for joining us. And also, your late father was the chief priest of the Chekiri Kingdom.
Yes.
And this is going back to 1952.
Yes.
Right on to here. Thank you very much for taking the trouble to come down.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, I'm not sure I can say very much about my brother Chris. I mean, the man is a lawyer, so what? I mean, we got them. But we're always delighted to have you. Thank you very much for coming along, Chris. Chris, yes. Chris is also a public affairs analyst. He's an activist in his own right. Thank you very much for coming along.
My profound pleasure.
Now, Prince Ishola. I like the Ishola bit, I'm
Because it sounds Yoruba.
Well, yes, well, of course, with due respect, you know where the language was borrowed from.
I don't think, like I told you before, we never borrowed our language.
But the day God was distributing languages, the Shekiri man and the Yoruba man
They
were sitting together.
very close, yes.
And then God said, you people go and arrange yourselves.
You are right. You are right.
But onto serious matters. You heard my opening, and you even know more than the opening.
Yes.
The Niger Delta, the Niger Delta Avengers, and the way they're going on, not wanting to come on board. First of all, give me your own perspective of that. They're blowing up pipelines, trying to force an issue, even the joke of they would be declaring their own status, their own republic by the 1st of August. Tell me about that.
Oh, thank you very much. You see, this issue of Niger Delta, forget about Avenger first. We have to first of all go into the historical perspective. If you don't go back into history, you will not be properly you are not going to be properly articulating the present.
And haven't we done that? Is why we've arrived to come, let's sit across the table. It's because we've gone into history.
There's no proper articulation of the past.
Oh, do you think that is a problem?
Yes.
When you say no proper articulation
of the past,
to bring it into an immediate issue,
yes.
Are you suggesting that the federal authorities don't really understand the lie of the ground? Is that what you're saying?
Yes, exactly. That's what I'm saying. They don't understand what is on the ground. Their information, their intelligence system is not really perfect. Why am I saying this? You're talking about Niger Delta, the most unique ethnic group in the Niger Delta. They are the Shekiri people. Are you getting me? Never you forget that the Shekiri nation is most unique. And the Avengers, they are from another stock, which is the Ijaw stock. If the government starts talking to Avengers and looking at Avengers and forgetting the Shekiri as a nation,
the Avengers are not even coming aboard, if my understanding is not mixed up.
No,
it is the movement for the emancipation of the Niger Delta men's that would appear to be on all fours with the efforts to resolve the issue.
Yes, MEND is doing that. Why is MEND doing that? They are already known.
Yes.
Yeah, MEND was the organization that came out for the amnesty program. Is that not so? Because they are known. The Niger Delta Avengers, they are not known. They are clandestine in nature.
Nobody is claiming that they know them.
That's what we are saying. That's why I say they are clandestine in nature.
So are they a renegade group then, causing trouble?
No, first of all, let's go to somewhere. I'm taking you somewhere before we get to Avengers.
Okay, but you've got to have to be brief because, as you know, you have a colleague.
I want to first of all talk about my people.
About your people.
Yes, okay, as it affects the Niger Delta. My people, the Shekiri people.
Yes, as it affects the Niger Delta.
Yes, then you will see the link between my people, the Avengers, MED, and everything.
Okay, you know what, Prince? I'm going to come back to you, but so that I shall hear the voice of my other guest. And, you know, quite frankly, as you said, the Niger Delta, I mean, the Shekiri people are unique people.
Yes, in the Niger Delta.
Indeed, you are looking very unique among us.
Hey, we'll give God the glory.
We give God all the glory.
Yes.
Chris, give me your perspective on this whole matter, because you normally mull over these things. And what do you think is happening here? Because MEND is on board. Not all, the other people are not. They even have gone as far as saying that we shall even be declaring our own republic. So it looks like they're spoiling for a fight which they cannot win. But
absolutely.
But this is one of the. Give me your perspective.
First, I want to say that profound commendation to the federal government for thinking about the carrot and the stick. Profound commendation for engaging the people in a dialogue. But I think that the time has come for our people in the Niger Delta to begin to put before the Avengers and those who do not want dialogue, the realities on the ground. As you and I speak, Yori, last month, about 70% of the resources generated by government was not from oil. As you and I speak, Yori, the reality of the fact is that the world is looking at clean energy. And in the next few years, oil wouldn't be the gold, the hot gold and coal that it is today. So what our people must begin to do is to address the fundamentals. The more you blow up pipelines, the more you destroy the space, the more you make life difficult for our people. That's point number one.
And most importantly, the people of the Niger Delta, even though ultimately everybody, but most importantly, in the first instance,
you destroy the flora and the fauna, the fishing and the farmlands of the Niger Delta, and just like Olubiri,
even as you claim to be fighting for the Niger Delta,
just like Olubiri is today almost a ghost land, you make the whole of the Niger Delta a desolate space. So the time has come for every element, tendencies, and people in the Niger Delta to aggregate at the table of dialogue, understanding that war will not solve no problem. Understanding that the way to solving the problem is Jojo. We must dialogue. That's fundamentally point number one. And then number two, we have a government.
Just that one, just that number two. I hope there's no three.
Number two, we have a government that has shown great concern about the Niger Delta space. Beginning the process of implementing the UNEP report and cleaning Ogoniland is fundamentally a show of goodwill and concern about the lives and how it affects the Niger Delta. Then point number three, please. The time has come for us to look inwards and understand that successive governments in the Niger Delta hasn't done us so well. And then there is the NDDC. Much as I advocate the need for a holistic restructuring of the Nigerian enterprise, I think that where we are is such that we must tell ourselves the truth. Our governors receive resources, NDDC gets resources. In Delta State, we have Desopadec, you have several other, you have 30% derivation. And so fundamentally, we must begin to address the injustices, the corruption the inequities that exist within and stop blowing up pipelines.
Okay.
To embrace dialogue is the way to go, and to show some kind of concern about how this affects the entire Nigerian enterprise is another way to go. And fundamentally, I believe that if every element, every tendency, every group, and the elders of the Niger Delta coalesce at the point at which we begin to talk to the Avengers, we begin to talk to every group.
From within.
From within. We just, I believe, will have peace sooner than later.
Indeed. Now, returning to you, Prince Ishola.
Yeah.
Within the Niger Delta,
All right.
nobody has said that the Niger is not a special environment and requires a special status. Nobody has said no to that. But as you know, all responsible units out of the Niger Delta are saying that we do not know who they are. Who is the Avengers? It were as bemused as you are ourselves. So when Chris was saying among there that the time might have come for people within the Niger Delta, even though there might be injustices from outside of it, but at least you have to tidy the home first. Do you like that reasoning, that line of reasoning?
It is fine. That reasoning is fine. But like I told you before, you cannot address a problem by not going to the roots of the problem. The roots of the problem is the first place you go to address the problem. Are you getting me? Going for dialogue, yes, go to dialogue.
But
what are you dialoguing on?
Yes.
That's it.
Yes.
What are you really dialoguing on?
There's no
Are you dialoguing with the Shekiri man? Is it only the Ijaw nationality that exists in the Niger Delta? Are you looking at the downtrodenness of the Shekiri people in their own area? Is it because the Shekiri man is not violent? Hey, listen to me, I'm coming somewhere.
I know, because you've pointed out that some people are of Ijaw stock, for example.
They are the ones, they are the Avengers. You can see an Ishekiri man being destructive. An Ishekiri man has no pedigree of destruction. But an Ishekiri man, he is the man that owns the wealth of the Niger Delta. I make bold to tell you today that Chevron has 80% of its activities in the Shekiri land. The Shekiri has 4 oil companies exploring oil from the Shekiri land. The gas in the Shekiri land also. So when you want to really dialogue, if it is the man that is violently prone that you are really going to dialogue with, and the man that says, I will wait patiently and take the sense of decorum to handle my issue, who do you really dialogue with?
So do you have some sense of that is what is going on now? Is that what
that is what I think the government should start doing? Because my people, the Shekiri people, they are living in absolute squalor. If you go to their locations, they are living in squalor. They don't have electricity. I'm coming. They don't have pipe-borne water in their locations. They don't have health centers. They don't even have schools. But we have been swallowing this thing from the Nigerian state. So when you want to address the issue of Niger Delta, I can give you a blueprint on how to handle it.
As you say, Prince, that the Shekiri man and the Shekiri nation, for example, is deprived in the ways you have mentioned.
Yes, absolutely.
Are there areas that within the Niger Delta that you think are not suffering the same sort of deprivation?
We can say the cities. We can say the cities.
Because that point came up yesterday where we said that, look, it's tempting when one is hurt and is emotional about a matter to go into what we refer to as Nigerian hyperbole, where you say absolutely nothing has been done in the Niger Delta, and we have to understand it. We know what it means. It means that whoever is saying that is not impressed with what has been done.
Please let me say something.
Sure.
The Niger Delta Development Commission bill was passed in 1999. I make bold to tell you today, from 1999 to date, the federal government has never audited the Niger Delta Development Commission. All the projects they claim to have been done within this period, the billions of dollars that have gone into that corporation, nothing is happening. If you go on ground and see on ground, go on ground. It is the responsibility of government. If if the government gives me a job to do, it is also the responsibility of government to ensure that I do that job. But if I do that job haphazardly, or don't even complete it, or don't even do the job at all, I will hold the government responsible.
Well, you will hold the government responsible. I hear what you're saying. How did we come to the pass? How can it? The Shekiri nation is not an insignificant people. So it doesn't matter. There's no way, any way you look, you're going to run into them.
Yes.
How can it then be that we've arrived at this pass where you say they have been sidelined, if I get you properly?
Yeah, they have been marginalized.
How can that be? Because the federal authorities are not going to deal with anybody. And I know there are many peoples there, but just taking the Shekiri people, the authorities, I can't conceive, I can't imagine that they will be dealing with anyone who, for whatever reason, does not have the best interest of all of the peoples of the Niger Delta. I mean, once born, twice shy. You
see,
it beggars belief.
When we became a member of the Nigerian state in 1914, everybody came in as an individual. We came to sacrifice our inheritance to a collective pool. And what do we need to get in return? We need to get what? Protection, security, empowerment, infrastructure. But I make bold to tell you today, we sacrifice those our inheritances to the Nigerian state. We don't have this.
Okay, we don't have this. Now, perhaps you would care to comment on another point that came out, that, look, without prejudice to the agitations and the desires of the different peoples, including the Shekiri people, a heck of a lot has already been pumped into the Niger Delta. And the Niger Deltans themselves, quite frankly, have fallen down a bit when it comes to taking what has arrived amongst themselves. Leave the quote-unquote enemy outsider. But what has come into we brethren, before you begin to complain about the federal government, for example, hasn't done this, hasn't done that, which might even be right, no comment on that. But do you think there's need to turn the searchlight on ourselves and say, we haven't really helped ourselves?
You see where maybe you're getting it wrong. If we turn the searchlight on ourselves, who is our father? Who holds the authority? Who holds the authority to look into the activities of a particular area? Or a particular parastatal?
You're talking about the federal government.
Yes.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is that it is the Niger Delta that knows where the shoe pinches most.
Yes. You know what, let's just go straight to your first question.
Yes.
How do we solve this problem of excess violence? Let's go there first.
It's a good place to sort of,
Yes, I know where I just want to escape to.
Let us escape to for the moment.
For the moment. Yes. What I want to tell you, don't forget, the Shekiris and the Ijors, they fought a very serious battle between 1997 and 2003 in that same Niger Delta. That is after the Ijors have declared the Kayama Declaration. They now wanted to muzzle the Shekiri people and make them say they must agree on what they did in 1999.
So that's not the federal government, that's among the
that's it. But the federal
among the people themselves.
Yes, I'm coming. The federal government failed in their responsibility to protect the Shekiri people at that time.
I see.
Are you getting me? They failed in their responsibility to protect the Shekiri people. That brought about the Shekiri people seeking for self-help. That brought Iwere People's Congress or Shekiri People's Congress, which I founded. And we fought back the Ijors to a standstill. I'm surprised, I'm bitter. I'm bitter to be hearing where the federal government starts talking about Tombolo and some other ragtag army like what we call the Niger Delta Avengers. I'm very surprised because I've confronted them before. We have gone into battle before. Are you getting me? And we know them. We know how to deal with them. We have all the intelligence reports about the people.
So when they tell us that when people from the Niger Delta say, President Jonathan in a different context says, you don't engage with a spirit. Who are Boko Haram?
Initially, when they just started burning down the Shekiri villages, that was what exactly was going on. But when the Shekiri man came out, you see one thing about the Shekiri man, we are very, very quiet people. We are very quiet people. We don't have any pedigree of violence. We do all our things because we are civilized. We met with the Portuguese in the 14th century. And we have been living a civilized life. Well, excuse me, I'm going somewhere. The question there is, to curb this problem, of violence here. This violence is not coming out from the Shekiri nation. No. We know where the violence is coming from. We know that.
Are you willing to work with the authorities?
Definitely.
To identify
Yes,
this and-
what I want to tell you now is the authorities should stop dancing around. Hit the nail. Call the Shekiri people who knows them. I fought with them. I know them. We know the creeks. We know everything about the creeks. We all live in the same terrain. We all live in the same terrain.
So you have nothing against the ongoing talks, but you are saying that it can still be the membership or participation can be tightened up a bit.
Yes, no, yes, it can be tightened up. If you really want to fish out somebody that is invisible, it is the people within his own environment that you get information from to be able to fish him out.
You're giving me the impression that the Shekiri people, if I can take you as speaking for them.
Yes, I'm speaking for them.
You give me the impression that the Shekiri people are feeling left out.
They have been left out.
And that's a problem.
It's a big one.
That's going to create a problem.
It's going to create even more than the problem. Because you see, the Shekiri man is feeling the same pains in which they are agitating for. The same pains, the pains of underdevelopment, the pains of the oil companies oppressing them. Look, if you go to Shekiri hinterland, you will see abandoned projects.
So what would you say now to the news report that we heard? You must have read it yourself.
Yes.
I think it was on Monday or Tuesday, where Army is saying that we hope talks don't fail, but if they do, we're going to have to do our duty.
Okay, let me tell you something.
Sure.
We have tried the carrot and the stick. We have tried the carrot and the stick, that is Obasanjo's time. When Yaradua came, he tried only the carrot, which is this issue of amnesty. Amnesty have been given as a carrot. And now you are not coming again. And the same people came back again. And you are not saying, let us use the carrot and the stick again. No. We have a blueprint. Sitting down here, have a blueprint as to how to get this thing resolved.
But
you don't need a carrot.
Have you been able to articulate that to anybody that matters?
Yeah, you see, if you are not invited for dinner and you go for that dinner, if you drop any glass broken there, you pay for it. The government has to invite me. The government should investigate me and know who I am.
Invite the Shekiri representation.
No,
whatever
just
it is.
all the Shekiri representation.
I'm coming, they can't invite all the Shekiri.
No.
So it has to be somebody who every Shekiri man and woman knows is speaking for us.
Yes. You see, the question is, that's the uniqueness of the Shekiri people. I have done my part as an Shekiri man, but I cannot abandon my race when they are in serious squalor, serious problem. I won't. So the government should first of all, let's talk. Let's talk. I fought with these people before. My boys know the terrain.
So let's talk is beyond and separate from the ongoing negotiations. When you say next talk,
the negotiations you are negotiating now, what will it end up? It will end up with carrots. The people who you gave carrots before, the people who you made relevant before, are these same people who are now billionaires, who are now bankrolling the NDA. They are the same people.
So, Chris, if I understand what the prince is saying, first of all, the Niger Delta is, it needs to be gently, as it were, the situation right there needs to be, if it can, to whatever extent, be taken apart and put together again for progress. We have, as he just mentioned, so many new billionaires that, quite frankly, is not the way we normally know billionaires in other areas where they are specialists in something, they're specially time. But just by fortune, just by luck, just by place of birth, a handful of people, an insignificant handful of people, when you look at the entire people of the Niger Delta, have suddenly become millionaires. And the argument is that, when they said that there will be no peace, we no go giri, you settled them.
Yes.
But those of us that were waiting for due process, rule of law and all of that, we're now losing out. What do you think, how do you think we're going to cross that particular hurdle? Because it would seem that, you must have heard the argument as well that this is all about the tap drying up. There's no free lunch anymore. No carrot anymore. Sorry, no carrot anymore. Let's talk now. This is not a matter of largesse. It's a matter of limited resources, and we've got to do the right thing. And so the people there are fighting back.
True,
in fact, he made a very big accusation just now. He said, it is those very people, the new shotgun billionaires, that actually now sponsor the unknown, the Niger Delta Avengers.
Let me add a very broad perspective in attempting this. The first thing to note is that the Niger Delta space is a terrain, is a zone that has well over 60 ethnic nationalities. Several tendencies, the Bibios, the Chekiris,
for perspective.
The Urhobos, the Jaws, you have the Isokos, the Ogbonis, Ndokwas, and these, they own the world. And so when a select tendency or tribe in that zone begins to threaten consistently the Nigerian enterprise, it worries me. And I do sincerely think that that's what he's trying to say, that engagement should encompass the other tendencies. That way, you find out that the Ijaw elders will be able to talk to their sons and tell them that Niger Delta is not just about Ijaws. It's about people and tendencies. You cannot threaten to declare a republic when you have not sat with the other people, the Bibios, the Ndokwas, the Chekiris, the
and
Urhobos.
Everybody is saying, you just count me out of that.
Yes.
That's unreasonable
that's
joke.
Point number one, Yuri. Then the second one to note is the fact that that's not a wild allegation that several people who obviously made so much money off the amnesty program and off the militants in the Niger Delta are perhaps funding the present crisis. That's not a wild guess. But beyond the conjectures, I think that the fact that government has said we're ready to talk, goodwill and strong thinking demands that you begin to look in that way, because it is about the lives of people. It is about the destinies of people. If you truly represent your people, make development of lives and properties the summum bonum, not individual billionaires who, in fact, Yuri, if you know, have properties outside the Niger Delta, schools and investments outside the Niger Delta, and they haven't built homes, they haven't built halls, they haven't built healthcare systems at home, and they're threatening the federal government. I think the charity begins at home.
Indeed.
And I want to say fundamentally that most times when we talk about these issues, we have had 13% derivation since 1999. And if you go to the Niger Delta terrain, you see abject and absolute poverty. And I think that there is a little culpability in that. This is my kind advice to government, that all over the world where multinationals exploit and explore oil, they invest into the communities. I am aware that in the Chekiri land from where he hails, that Chevron operates in some places and they stay in houseboats. They don't build even homes. They don't invest in the territory where they make billions. They can't do that in the United States of America. Where Shell operates, they can't do what exactly they do in the Niger Delta in Holland. You know, the truth is that the time has come for not only should government dialogue, but ensure that the multinationals stay to terms with local content and development of that space. Because if successive governments had monitored the companies, we won't have the kind of spill that we have in Ogoniland. We won't have the kind of spillage that we have that destroyed Oloibiri. Yeah. And then that's point number one. And then again, I think that fundamentally our government must begin, along with dialoguing with the elements and the tendencies in the Niger Delta, to talk with the multinational companies. They must begin to ensure that what they say on paper, which is of course local content and contribution to the development of that space, is effectively pursued. If it is, Yuri, you find out that most of these boys who are militants, quote and unquote, will have jobs. You find out that the road and facilities will sprout, and the anger, the pain, and the angst that motivates crisis and conflicts will diminish.
Can't we take all of this for granted in the proposed talks? That this, I mean, you have a bunch of intelligent people. At the very, very worst, they'll probably be as reasonable, discerning, and intelligent as we might claim to be here, but hopefully they're even a lot more so, given the onerous responsibility that they will be charged with. They must be able to take all of this for granted by way of knowledge. But you know what? I know you might want to come back on that. Let me just take a quick break now. We get that out of the way. We'll be right back, and we'll include your calls as well. Do stay with us, please. Okay, thank you for staying with us. We still have Evangelist Prince Ishola Kujano Echie. He's a chief, he's a cleric, he's a businessman, and he's a lecturer, and he seeks to advance the cause of the Itsekiri people of the Niger Delta, hopefully carrying the entire Niger Delta along. But his charge is that his people, the Itsekiris, are actually on the sidelines of this, and that's not a situation that bodes well for a successful resolution of the matter. We strategically had to escape when we were talking earlier. Okay. You had to escape to a safe place. Yes. And that was when I brought up the matter of the Niger Deltans themselves. They have swallowed Niger Deltan resources entrusted to their care and put it in their own pockets. And perhaps much more infuriatingly, are reported to be using Niger Deltan wealth that has come to them in offshore investments. You hear of schools, you hear of facilities, you hear of mansions abroad. So there's a problem in there before you now address the other one, which, as we have said, is also there. How can we be sure that whatever is put into the Niger Delta will not go the way of before, is what critics are saying?
You want me to make my comments?
If you would care to.
You see, you are the one putting the money there into the Niger Delta. And you are not putting on machineries to monitor that money, to ensure that what you put that money there for
is doing what was intended
to do. You look at it, the present government is shouting about corruption. What you just said now is corruption on a very high level. That is, the Niger Deltans are corrupt. So what I think the government should first of all start doing is addressing the high degree of corruption within those agencies that are saddled with the responsibilities of developing the Niger Delta based on the money that comes in there.
But you know, the authorities have said from day one, even before they came, there will be no sacred cows.
Yeah, no. If you say no sacred cows, yes. I agree there will be no sacred cows. When are you now going to beam the searchlight to the Niger Delta agencies, Federal Ministry of Niger Delta, NDDC? When are you going to go there to go and do that? If you have done that, if you have started clearing that house, now the people will know that you are genuinely wanting to really develop them. Because the government has all security apparatus to handle the issue of funds in which has been taken from the national cake for the development of the Niger Delta. I make bold to tell you something. The Itsekiri Nation, we have abandoned projects in the Itsekiri Nation. Are you getting me? Abandoned water project, abandoned electricity projects, abandoned school projects. All of them are abandoned by this same group of people you are talking about. And the government keeps quiet. Is it me that is going to go and talk about it?
Okay. Yinka has called in from Ikorodu. He wants to join the conversation. Good morning, Yinka.
Good morning.
Thank you for calling.
Good morning, the gentleman there this morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
My concern this morning is about the Avengers from the Niger Delta. If we are talking about the Avengers, are they really powerful more than the federal government? And my answer is affirmative that no, they cannot be more powerful than the federal government. But the blame should go to the state governors in those various states of the Niger Delta. Since 1999, 13% derivation have been given to Niger Delta. Why are the so-called Avengers are not facing those governors? Why are they destroying the pipelines? Why do they want to bring Nigeria down? Because I was expecting the Avengers to come out with a blueprint that people will know, oh, this is exactly what you are fighting upon. That all those governors, all those who are served under the NDDC, what are their contributions? Those are the Ataritu Kuba of a person that have embezzled money, they've enriched themselves, taking advantage of the Niger Delta people. What is their call? What do they want to do about them? Why are they facing the federal government? My concern is, by the time the federal government now change over to them, people will start blaming the federal government. People in the Niger Delta, the elders there, they call themselves, because they know all these boys. They cannot tell us they don't know them. It's just like when something is happening in Lagos State, that people will know, oh, this is where they come from, and this is how they are going to cop them. The elders in Niger Delta are not doing enough. The federal government may have failed in some aspects, but we need to sit down and resolve issues, not destroy the pipeline. That's my concern this morning.
Thank you very much for calling in, Yinka. Chris, you wanted to comment?
Yeah, interestingly, I think I agree that the federal government is stronger and more powerful than the militants in the Niger Delta. I totally agree. But I believe that the way to go now, and that's what profoundly the federal government is doing, is dialogue. You talk with the people, and God forbid that fails, you know, because I truly know that the time has come for us to allow the peace and ensure that the margins of development that is beginning to pick up. You know, Nigeria is diversifying today, and then we have new margins in our corporate morality. Corruption is being fought headlong, and new margins in the way we do business. I do sincerely believe that we can rediscover this country and make things work for the good of the masses of our people.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Okwara, calling in from VI, good morning.
Jerry, good morning.
Thank you for calling in.
And good morning to my brothers over there.
Good morning.
Good morning.
The truth is, there is a lot of corruption in Niger Delta, very well. Right from years ago, let them call the governors into accountability, and the Minister of Niger Delta and the rest of them. So what we are saying now is, we need the federal government presence in Niger Delta. Lagos was not developed by NNDC or Lagos State Development Commission, no. It was federal government man. Abuja was not developed with the Abuja Development Commission. Oh, that is what they want here. The federal government come by himself and issue projects and monitor the project, not giving money out to various individuals. We don't want that again. Let the federal government come with their might again. As they did to Lagos and Abuja, let them come here and execute projects, roads, and monitor it. Because what we are seeing this day, we are having a deceitful government. They will come with their grammar and speak everything, and that end of the year. We don't want that type of thing again.
All right,
if
then.
the government is sincere, let them come by themselves and dialogue with the people. Yes.
Thank you very much for calling in, Mr. Okwara. Prince, oftentimes we hear this where this particular example is cited, Lagos, that Lagos was not developed by itself, it was developed by, federal government just showing its presence and existing there, and just the corollary advantage. Same thing for Abuja. That is what, for instance, President Ogomorai that we had on yesterday, and even before him, we've been hearing it from there. That so what's the problem? Why can't it be? Is that an important aspect of this particular equation we're trying to balance?
Yes. If the federal government declares the Niger Delta a federal territory, if you declare it a federal territory, then they will beam their searchlight there. But unfortunately, what the federal government wants is what comes out from there. It is not what goes in, what they are doing there.
Well, in the past, yes.
But this government is trying to do something.
Yes, it's trying to rectify that.
Yes. But I want to go into something quickly.
Sure.
Somebody was saying the federal government, the might of the federal government is bigger than the might of the NDA, the Avengers.
Sure.
It's bigger than the might of the Avengers. You see, you cannot fight somebody you do not see. Are you getting me? You are not seeing somebody, you want to fight him. No matter the might you have. When the Americans tried it in Vietnam, they were not seeing the Vietnamese. And they were defeated.
And we don't want it to get... Well, we already know that it's...
The Americans were defeated.
Yes.
So they were not seeing. You must see the people you want to fight with. In any way or the other. But the only way you can fight those people is to use the people to fight them. And how can you use the people to fight them? Develop the people. Let the people know who are the thieves among them. Let the people know those who duped their money. Let the people know them.
Interesting.
Once the people know them, the Avengers, they are not up to... what is the population of the Avengers?
Exactly.
Compared to the population of the entire Niger Delta.
Excellent, Prince. I really am sort of encouraged that you've said that. But, Chris, perhaps you will agree if we should go in that particular way, even though they said there will be no sacred cow. If we went in that way immediately, if we're in the middle of that, you know that everywhere will be full. Social media, everybody about witch hunting in the Niger Delta. They want to take us apart. You know, because the status quo. Human beings love the status quo, especially a favorable one.
Sadly, that's the bad chronicle of the Niger Delta story. When you talk about probing somebody from the Niger Delta, they cry foul. They say, oh, because Jonathan was from the Niger Delta. But I think that the time has come for us to look in the way of the NDDC.
Yeah.
We have to see what has happened to our resources since 1999.
Okay.
We have to look the way of the governors. And
the place has to be probed.
Yeah. Interestingly, the Attorney General of the Federation has asked for the cases of almost all the governors that are alleged to have looted state resources. I think that's the way to go, because billions, trillions.
Exactly.
I'm from Delta State. So much money has gone into that space.
So that it shall not have gone to waste.
You cannot close your eyes against that monumental looting of our collective patrimony.
Yeah,
I do not think so.
Okay,
that's why I salute this present administration
Yes.
that is looking the way of anti-corruption, creating new moral
But it now
margins
needs support,
and new paradigms.
and it now needs the support, I would imagine, from within the Niger Delta itself. But let me quickly bring in Mr. Mahmoud, who has been waiting. He's calling in from Ikoyi. Good morning, Mr. Mahmoud.
Good morning, Mr. Yori.
Thank you for calling in.
And thanks for all the effort every day.
Very kind
I'm
of you.
discussing Nigerian issues.
Thank you.
And my good friend Chris Wakobia.
Good morning.
You are so wonderful, and all your intelligent talks, we are following up. We have been following it, and may God bless you. And you one day, what we are praying for you, me in particular, Chris. If I have even the will to discuss with even any executive, I will tell them, pick Chris Wakobia to be somebody in Nigeria, because you talk with frankness and with your true mind. Now, the issue of the Niger Delta, I called yesterday, I said, look, if any president has the will, to me, let them have their 100% oil. Let them have it. And then pay to the federal government, because all this money they used to come to all these intervention agencies, plus 30% intervention they give to governors. Where are this money going to? The Avengers, I feel, the Avengers, all these Avengers, they should take their governors, like keep their governors in the creek and tell them where is the 30%, where is the money, where is the development money. That's what I expect them. Anything outside that, Mr. Yori and the other man wearing children, anything after that, it will be just a waste of time. God bless Nigeria. God bless all of you.
Indeed. Thank you very much.
Can I chip in this?
Okay.
Can I chip in this? If you wonder, there's a land that is owned by the people, and you want to build a maritime university on that land, and someone from within takes 13 billion for that land, I think it's pretty inhuman. And then rather than address it, you're blowing pipelines. Rather than support a government that's saying, let us begin to develop your territory, let us work together, you're fighting government. I think that fundamentally our leaders in the Niger Delta should begin to address these people and call a spade by its name.
Indeed.
Muted silence is not fair.
Okay.
Not only to the Niger Delta space, but to the Nigerian enterprise. Begin to call a spade by its name in that space and tell the Avengers, this is not right, this is not fair. Some militants were here before, they became instant billionaires. They did not give anything back to the people. Is that what you want? We have a government that has begun with the cleaning up of Ogoniland, and they're saying that they will follow to the later the development of that space. And I do sincerely think that what government needs is to proactively engage the Nigerian people. So much is happening, but little is known.
Indeed. Mazi Okoroafo, calling in from Abia State. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Mr. Yori. Good morning, our guests in the studio and the evangelist. You see, Comrade Mazi Okoroafo Patrick, you see, one, the solution to Niger Delta issue. One, dialogue. No matter how long the dialogue will take, the government should base on dialogue. Two, we should say no to military attack. Now, why do I say we should say no to anything military? Look at what happened in Kabul. Look at what happened in Iraq. Look at what happened in Sudan. What is happening there? Instead of peace, the whole cities are now ungovernable for this. Because when Bush went there, when Obama went there, what is happening? They thought it would come to the end after using military. At the end of what's happening? The whole thing is still boiling. Those actors in the Niger Delta, Nigerian government should give them safety posts. It's just like you now, when you come to a village, you see some people that are thieves in their environment. You don't can bring an outsider to come and work there as a security man because they will not allow that person to survive. What do? You use those people there that are the thieves in that very place. Let them do security work there for you. What am I arriving at? What I'm arriving at? The central government, all those sensitive posts in government, in their state of origin, those boys, government should employ them, let them man all this. They will now know exactly. They should also come and feel and know the impact of the government. And Nigerian government should revisit past leaders in those Niger Delta. If we fail to visit past leaders in the Niger Delta, we cannot bring any solution to curbing violence in the Niger Delta. Because we have closed our eyes as if we don't know what is happening in Niger Delta. No matter whatever you do in Niger Delta, it will not come to an end. If we don't revisit past leaders, ask them, where are the billions or trillions they were given at what their administration fee? Where are they? What have they done with it?
All right.
Now, if they are using it for their own personal aggrandizement, government should go back, auction all those things, take that with. Now go to Abuja. You see Abuja, you see houses paid by Nigerians. Nobody is there. Who and who staying there? And people are looking for a house to stay in Abuja and they are paying 2 million, 3 million. And houses are there. Snake lizards, cockroaches are making of those houses. And these are Nigerian money. And the federal government are there opening their eyes and they're fasting by every school. Nobody's talking. Why?
All right then, Mazi Okorafor, I got to make room for someone else. Thank you very much for calling impassioned. And there's a sense in which it echoes the point that you made, that we need perspective. We've got to go back in the past if we're going to resolve the present successfully.
Yes, if you don't go back to the past.
And challenge the leaders.
Yes, challenge the leaders.
To explain.
Explain. If you don't explain to the people, like I was telling you, I just told you, you have to explain to these people, audit the NDDC, the projects that have been carried out over these years. Are you getting me now? Let the people know. Let the people know. When the people know that Mr. Samuel is supposed to put a borehole somewhere here, and Mr. Samuel refused to put this borehole, the people will bring Mr. Samuel to the government.
So there's a problem, right, from what you are saying, and you come from in there, so you
I'm
know
from
the
there.
place. There's a problem already within the Niger Delta, among the people, among us, among the people of the Niger Delta, before the argument we have with outsiders who are not being reasonable, who are not seeing eye to eye with us. But even among ourselves, we do not agree. We have been stealing from ourselves.
Truly, what happened to Colonel Sarawua? It was conspiracy from within before the federal government and Shell cashed into it. I think that the time has come for our people to begin to aggregate that parlor.
Sorry for rudely interrupting you. Abel just called in from Abia State? From Delta State. Good morning, Abel.
Yeah, good morning. Albert, thank you very much. I've been calling. Don't have a opportunity. Thank God I have
Sorry about that. Thank God.
Please, especially I want to talk to the Prince. Are we agitating Ijaw and Shekiri issue here? Or we are talking about Niger Delta issues? So you should not use maybe Ijaw, Shekiri are the this or that. We are not talking, we are looking for the solution. So he said that you have a boys that want to search for the creek, whatever. That is not the issue. The issue is what is the solution? So she stopped telling people that the Shekiri is the majority or blah, 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 or they are the owner of the gas and this or that. It's not done that way. I did, one of your callers calling for the para, something like that. He did something. First, if the Niger Delta Ministry, all those, they are not working, what me myself are expecting is let the federal government come to the communities in Niger Delta. If then development that come to Niger Delta today, the Shekiri land is also developed. It's not only the just land or the just like where I'm calling from. I think my village is second only oil producing community in this country. Let me tell you.
What's your community?
My community is Okulaha community, Fekedo.
Oh, well thank you very much for calling in. Can you, maybe because he directly spoke to something the Prince had been saying, that, look, it's a Niger Delton matter.
Yes.
And if the Niger Delton crisis is resolved, Ishekiri issue would have been resolved as well.
I agree with him. I agree with the fact that it's a Niger Delta affair. If it is a Niger Delta affair, and have you heard the Ishekiri voice on this Niger Delta affair before? Have you ever had any Ishekiri man come to tell you anything about it? It doesn't mean the Ishekiri man are not feeling the pains. But if I have to speak for my people, I must speak for my people.
Okay.
I must bring out the pains my people are passing through.
But you're not saying that they deserve special treatment.
No, I'm not saying the special treatment.
They don't deserve to be sidelined.
They don't deserve to be sidelined. And I wish to say to anybody, the Ishekiri nation produces the highest number. We produce up to 300,000 barrels of oil every day.
Okay.
And our gas settlement in the Ishekiri nation is next to the Ndokwa land. What am I trying to say? What has the Ishekiri nation benefited? We don't have ministerial appointment. We don't have anything. Of recent, NDDC board was formed. The Ishekiri man is not put there. The Ishekiri man is not on the board. And we contribute more than any single ethnic nationality in this country to the economy of the country.
Okay.
Now you are telling me I should not talk about my people? And they are living in abject poverty and squalor? No, that cannot happen.
Okay. You wanted to say something?
Yeah, fundamentally, I think that the way to go is to begin to engage the people. We must put issues in proper perspective. The time to deepen the frontiers of dialogue is now. Government must begin to use whatever
just like Abel said, no matter how long it takes, stay on the frontiers of dialogue. Please don't go for the military option. And I think everybody is.
Let me give you this progress. My brother talked about Vietnam. Remember Russia and Afghanistan. You know, terrains are very difficult, and you don't begin to spend so much money that otherwise can be spent in the development of that space, in weaponry and warfare. I think our practice should be welfare and development, not warfare. And I do sincerely believe that we can etiolate the vestiges of crisis there through proactive engagement. Government can begin to talk with the elders as well as mend. They can talk to the ethnic nationalities, the Chekiris, the Yorubas, the Zons, and Ibibios. Begin to identify the leaders and engage them.
What do you think about an anti-corruption drive within the Niger Delta, bringing the war against corruption?
That would bring strong hope for the people. I'll give you a practical instance. So many people know the rot and malfeasance in NDDC. So many people know the rot and malfeasance in the Niger Delta Ministry. So many people know the rot and malfeasance in the Sopadek, for instance, in Delta State. If you beam the searchlight, what it will do is to show to the people that government cares
and that
about
sincerity of
credible use of their resources.
Okay.
And that will build not only confidence in the dialogue process, confidence in government, and then ultimately show to those who are getting on the board that no longer
is it business as usual. The people are watching.
Yes.
Prince, we've run out of time now, I want to thank you for coming. Just a one-line closer, something you wanted us to hold on to, if nothing else.
No, what I want us to hold on to is this issue of dialogue.
Okay.
This issue of dialogue. Let's dialogue.
And let nothing within the Niger Delta cause us to depart from dialogue.
Dialogue, yes.
That is probably what the Niger Deltans need to speak about the most now.
No, we should not also undermine ethnic nationalities that are keeping quiet.
Okay. That are, okay. Yes. I understand you that are keeping, I think every Nigerian. No more, Chris.
Georgia, not war.
Thank you very much, Dr. Chris Nwokobia. Is it professor?
He's a professor now.
Professor Chris Nwokobia, public affairs analyst. Thank you very, very much for coming on.
Pleasure.
And thank you very much, Evangelist Prince Ishola Ekwejuno Echie.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for coming on and sharing your perspective with us.
Thank you.
Appreciate your call. Thank you very much for watching. God willing, I'll be with you tomorrow for a fresh edition. I'm Yori Folani. Bye-bye for now.